Another interesting tidbit from practice yesterday for the Browns. Jerome Ford made his first appearance at training camp. He missed the first 3 days of practice because he was welcoming his firstborn child into the earth. So congratulations to Jerome Ford on becoming a father. Tyvis, are you a believer in the baby boost? And should we bet on Jerome Ford to score a touchdown week one now?
That's the thing. You have a kid, you see things totally different. It's like, I got to feed my kid. I don't care about none of that stuff. Like, my kid is going to eat. And if you in the way, I'm running straight through you. Like, that's just what it is. So, yeah, Jerome Ford got a newfound motivation that I'm interested to see what he does this season. I know with all the Nick Chubb talk, it's unfortunate for him because he's the victim of all that. Everybody with Nick Chubb this. Is he going to come back? Is he not going to come back? His thing is he got to go out there and say, I could care less if he come back or not. I'm still going to get mine when it's time, And my job is to be so good that we ain't going to miss Nick Chubb, He had some really good moments last year, and he has to be more consistent. He got to be more dependent. And I feel like where he left off towards the end of the season, he was really starting to climb. His vision was terrible at the beginning of the year, but he started to see things more clearly with more games that he played. So I'm actually interested to see how he attacks this season. Whether Nick Chubb starts it off or not, he's still going to get a lot of carries, especially early on, because Nick Chubb's probably going to get brought along slowly. So that means that every opportunity that he gets, he's got to maximize. He's got to think to himself, when I touch that ball, it's got to go to the paint because I don't know how long it's going to take Nick Chubb to get to Nick Chubb. And once Nick Chubb becomes Nick Chubb, my role is going to diminish unless I'm doing that well in this new offense and I'm just that effective that they have no choice to play me. And that's where his mindset got to be because, again, I got to feed my kid no matter what. Do you know what he had, a boy or girl?
I believe I saw on Twitter it was a baby boy, but I am not 100% sure. Do not quote me on that. That was a Twitter report.
Because I'm telling you, you got to eat. I got to feed. Like when my wife was pregnant, listen, Tyvis, you better move out my way.
Tyvis was out there looking like Venom.
You better move out my way.
Tyvis, Venom, kill.
The roid rage for Ty kicked in. He was the ultimate box safety. The ultimate.
Block safety. Hey, look, this is why football is the most. This is why football is the most drama-filled, riveting, crash show ever. Because it's like, man, like you said, you got people, like the football don't care about nothing. Like, you not only got to be out there, battling through injuries, right? Like, you got that side. But then you got the family side where you, going home, looking at your kids, knowing this ain't guaranteed. And then you got to know, I just had a kid, and I want Nick Chubb to come back. And Nick Chubb is over there lifting the whole weight room. And he yeah, I'm coming back, and I'm going to be there week one. And you well, I just had a kid. I'm looking at my reps. I better get, hey, listen, is the kid okay? We good? All the toes moving and everything? I got to get back to practice and work. That's the great thing about football is people be pushing people. It be counter narratives. It be real life be happening. That's why the great thing about it is once football season starts and you talking about what's happening on the field, that's the best feeling in the world because that competition just drives everything. People is getting cut sitting home. You go to work the next day. Can you think about it? What if this was UCSS was training camp, bro? You just walk in and Anthony gone. What the hell happened to Anthony? You see another
I got optioned to AA. I'm working at a comic book store.
Right. You see a whole nother dude pushing the buttons yeah, man. Hey, y'all got to be, that half hour thing, no, we need to be here an hour early. You like, what the hell happened? That's the way football be. Yeah. And they go right on like nothing happened. And they still got to answer questions and everything. But, yeah, shout out to him. I hope he's ready to go because it's like a camp battle. Nick Chubb,
it's a legit camp battle for RB2.
Right, it's a camp battle because Deontay Foreman is listen, don't just make me be no short yardage back.
Yeah,
I done carried the rock at a high pace in this league. Don't play with me.
You do know it's this. So listen, for people that don't know, it's this thing called PP, player performance checks. They usually hit about March, and depending on where you was drafted or undrafted. The lower you was drafted, so 5th, 6th, 7th round to undrafted, the more money you get every time you step on the field, all right?
That's crazy.
So for a guy like me that was undrafted, just being on the field, and you get the older vets that look out for you. So for example, a field goal block. Them older vets them starters ain't doing that. Hey, go get you some money, man. So you gonna step out on that field? That's like $250 just for being out on the field. Just $250 for every play that you play.
That's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Increase. So when March come around, they total up how many plays you play.
These plays in camp or plays?
No, this is in game.
In game.
In not preseason, regular season. In game. Every time you step on that field, it's a certain amount of money that you get, and they take all your plays and they multiply it, and they send you this big fat check in March or April, and it's all the money, and it'd be like $25,000 and stuff.
Think about that.
You think about that
Yeah.
on top of your salary.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say, Foreman or all these Hines, all these guys,
They wanna play.
I want to
They
get on
wanna
that.
play.
I need that PP check to be good and more.
And when I look at Ford in this offense, there's two different offenses. The one where Nick Chubb's healthy and the one with Nick Chubb not being healthy. So for the sake of this, let's pretend he's not healthy to start the season. Foreman and Ford are your RBs 1 and 2 in whatever order you want. I think Foreman's more of your first and second down back. I think Ford's more of your third down back. Did you guys know that last year, Jerome Ford had the second most receiving touchdowns of any running back in the NFL, only behind Christian McCaffrey?
No.
He had 5 receiving touchdowns. McCaffrey had 7. His 5, second most in football, which surprised me because I didn't think of him as a great receiving back per se, but he graded out tremendously.
Oh, that's why they drafted him, because of his ability to catch out the backfield. Now, I don't recall him catching touchdowns. That's the problem.
He had the play action one with Flacco against LA. He had the one against the Jets. He ended up with 5 on the season.
Yeah.
He also has a knack of turning nothing into something. His big plays last year, his highlight reel, his hoop mixtape of football would have been tremendous last year. He had a couple runs, mainly the one against Pittsburgh in week 2 when Nick Chubb went out, where he got stuck behind the line of scrimmage, scurried out to the left, and then made it 69 yards down the field. But he's not a perfect running back. And I think the one thing he has to improve upon the most this year is something I found from Next Gen Stats. Now, this was from November of last season. I could not find the updated number past November, but this was from week 12 of last season. I'm going to read this exactly from Amazon's Next Gen Stats. Quote, Ford has the highest average time behind the line of scrimmage at 3.15 seconds. That's why he can carry the ball 20 times and only net 44 yards. He lacks the vision and decisiveness needed to be an effective lead runner, end quote.
Be dancing.
He jumps and dances behind the line of scrimmage, which at times can open up these massive lanes that lead to 60-yard touchdown runs or 50-yard big-time plays and chunk plays. It can also lead to tackles for loss, putting you behind the chains, 2nd and 12, 2nd and 9 after you pick up 5 or 6 on first down. And he has to eliminate that from his game to become the most efficient version and effective running back within this new Browns system. That's what I hope, and I'm not sure you can teach that to you.
That was the
It feels like it's running style, but that's what I hope the Browns can kind of wean out of his game during camp.
He's got a new running backs coach.
Yep. Steve Staley.
Which was successful for the Eagles for many years. So maybe he can teach him a thing or two that help him pick those things up. Deuce was a solid running back. I ain't going to say he was just the greatest guy of all time, but for the Eagles, he was definitely a really solid running back for them. And, if he can go in there and teach him some things, you got maybe the patience. It's probably about acceleration. When you coming off that ball, like if they run stretch, like I was – me being the DB, listening to them talk to the running backs, them stretch plays, you supposed to stretch it as wide as you can, to get it out there. And then you got to put your foot in the ground and you got to get vertical when you see your seam open. It's just stuff like that. It comes with acceleration. He's got to work on his acceleration. Maybe you get the ball, maybe you ain't going 100%, but you're trying to surface the thing. And once you see it, put your foot in the ground and get vertical and go. And I think that was the thing that he got better at towards the end of the year. He found his gap or his seam quicker, and he was able to get through it. Because in the NFL, gaps open and close real quick. And when you see it, you got to go. And hopefully he built off of what he had last year towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I was just watching something the other day talking about why it is that, Trent Richardson wasn't good.
Oh, he had no vision.
He
couldn't
just
see any hole.
it was like, and when you're watching at home, sometimes it's like, man, why did you just cut right there?
Yeah, he missed.
And the
he
broadcast
used to miss
angle
it.
is so much different
Right,
when
than in real life.
Yeah.
In real life, when you if you in the being a defensive lineman, when you in the box, Like, to be truthful about your situation, like, we don't even put the running backs in there. Like, they learn you to watch football at a different angle. Like, we don't watch the quarterback or the running back. The offensive lineman will tell you where the ball is going, right? You'll get there based on what they're doing, right?
You're talking about it from a D lineman
Yeah,
standpoint,
from our perspective. Like, we're not watching y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I tell you, from a box safety standpoint, I'm looking at the tight end,
Yep.
and I'm looking for a guard to pull. That tell me everything I need to know. I don't need to look at the running back. If that tight end blocked down, all right, they run it whatever way he blocked down, gonna tell me where they're going. And if I see that guard pull, I know I got to cross face and get to the other side B gap. It was just like it's just instinctive. You just seen it and you just knew what to do.
And you be like, all right, well, I'm not really looking at the guy, but like, and then it's different. Like, you could be in a 3-4 to 4-3, and that's completely different. Like, if you're doing a 3-4, you're looking at the guy to the next. You over the tackle, but you're looking at the guard or the tight end to figure out how they gonna block me. But then obviously in the 4-3 is just different. I think, you know, back to kind of like Jerome Ford. I think it comes with repetition. Also, it comes with having a consistent group of guys that are up front. And if you got a consistent group of guys, you know, like, okay, Wyatt Teller is going to reach that guy. He's not going to just let him roll. He's going to reach, and he's going to try his best to reach him. And then I'm going to press the hole, and then I'm going to cut back and I'm get vertical. So it just, they all work in tandem. And hopefully, for me, I just want to see the offensive line be as cohesive as possible so everybody can get stuff to jail.
It's a great